All right, well, I am here with Pat Flynn, founder of Flight Builders in Jacksonville, Florida. Thanks, Pat, for joining me today.
Absolutely. Welcome to Florida.
Yeah, it's found out we walked here a little hot and sweaty, but that's all right. I'll take that over the Iowa weather. It's kind of up and down this time of year. So, Pat, I'm going to ask you a few different questions, but first of all, I'm curious, how did you find out about Sage Intacct specifically?
Sure. So we were in the real estate investment business for years. So we were buying and selling houses, built a rental portfolio, but we also did a lot of lots and a little development at the same time. So for years, we'd buy lots or do small developments, and we'd have another builder build for us. In 2023, we decided to take all that in-house. So prior, we were using QuickBooks, it's simple, right? It's cash-based accounting, money in, money out. You buy a lot, build a house, sell it. Simple. Pay draws. When we decided to bring building in-house, step one was looking at where you're going, right? So we're big on intentionality and purpose. So we look ahead 3-5 years. We have aspirations to become national multi-city builder with hundreds of projects going at a time. So it came down to, okay, now we have to pick an accounting software for this new entity to take building in-house. We've been using QuickBooks for years. We know QuickBooks really well. I can navigate it really well. It costs $200 a month. Or should we use Sage, which is much more expensive, obviously, at the time. And to swallow that bill as a startup, we would not have done it unless we had looked ahead towards the future. So we looked at several different softwares. We looked at Sage, we looked at Accounting Seed, we looked at Oracle, NetSuite. And after talking to several peers and other people in the construction space and seeing what's been happening with Sage, and the fact that you can tell that just Sage is excited about this Intacct product because they're dumping money into it. And we could tell there's new stuff going on. And as AI comes out too, it's not just a product on Sage's bench that's just sitting there, like just sitting on the side where, like, great, we may get great money off this, but we're not really taking steps to make it better. We saw that there was money being invested into it. I knew other people that were using it. We knew we were going into the construction space where it's a construction specific software. So we decided it was right for us. And I think the main part was looking into the future and seeing where we're going.
That's great feedback to have, because I think a lot of times companies don't often think about the future and where are they going to go. And that's exactly right. That's one reason why you invest in the right technology.
Short-term thinking, it's a really stupid decision, right? But if you know where you're going and you want to be sustainable long-term, like if we did QuickBooks and then all of a sudden, 2 years in, we have 75 projects going and need WIP reporting on every single one, like that's not possible.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. So, yes, I think looking ahead is incredibly important and knowing where you're going and picking the right thing that people are still giving attention to, because there's going to be a lot of transition in accounting with AI over the next 5 years. So it was important to us that Sage does such a good job continuing to iterate and make it better.
Yeah, Intacct is their flagship product. Right. It is the one. Important. And they have 100 some developers in the UK that have been, I think, spending nearly 10 years just developing out the AI part of the system, because they want it to be right. They want it to be secure. They want it to give accurate information. And so it's not there yet. It's coming very soon. And we've seen a little bit released with it, but we're really excited about it because one thing we know about Sage is that they take their time. They're very careful about development before they actually release it out to the public and let, some companies just say, okay, let's let our customers, right, deal with the problems and give us the feedback, and then we'll go back and we'll fix things. Not Sage. So that's great feedback to have.
Awesome.
So tell me a bit about your philosophy as a leader, and why did you start Flight Builders?
I would say we were very much at a crossroads in 2023, and the two kind of options for me personally were to slow down a lot with the shift in the market and keep our small team of great people we had and just do some deals here and there. And it would have been a really easy, not very stressful life, and very safe too. But I had to take some time to think deeply about who I was and what I wanted. And I found that the most joy that I got was allowing people within our team to continue to take on more responsibility, to make more money, to push them to grow as leaders of people as well. And you can't do that staying small. And there's nothing wrong with staying small. I think it's great for certain people, but that's why everyone needs to be authentically who they are. But I found in myself that I get really excited, and most of my joy does not come from money. It comes from watching people grow and watching things click and be able to take on more responsibility and grow as people. So construction is a business, especially home building, it's very people heavy. Right? If you're not good with people and you don't enjoy being around a team, it's probably not a really good space for you. So ultimately, we ended up going down the road of construction because I think we're phenomenal operationally, and my joy comes from being around people and lifting them up. And that was ultimately the road we went down. That's
great. I saw recently on your LinkedIn, you guys made a post, you presented to a local group recently. Talking about how your personal life, I think it should be as important as your professional life. So I think that's great. I mean, I love that because at Bangert, our culture aligns with that as well. We want people to have a fulfilling personal life while also having a fulfilling professional life. And how can you make the most out of the both, right? To be fulfilled.
For sure. I mean, you spend a ton of time, like me and Matt spend a ton of time together, right? Like if you don't enjoy being around the people at work, you know, most of your life is with people you don't enjoy. Like that's just, it's just not the way that I want to live. So being around great people and going through struggle and pain together and then coming out stronger on the other side is just extremely fulfilling to me. And it's just the bonds that you form doing that are very unique. And if I can continue to form them for the rest of my life, I'd be very happy with that.
That's great. So tell me about, how did you find out about Bangert?
Yeah, YouTube, right, Matt? So we onboarded with Sage with a different company, which in my opinion is an absolutely horrible process. We wanted the Sage Intacct software, and somehow in our search to buy the software, that's all we wanted to do and get onboarded, we got linked up with this other third-party company. We didn't even understand how the whole dynamic worked. No one told us. We understood that we were forced to use these people and they're going to help us maybe. And I personally had no idea what was going on. I just wanted to get Sage. So we never had a choice of who to use. So we got on with these people, and it was just a really uncustomized experience. It was an out-of-the-box experience. If we could tell, they were just taking us through a checklist, but we move very fast. We have smart people here. We're an entrepreneurial-run startup. Like, we move fast. We don't need to go through an hour-long session on how to log into the software. Like, we don't need that.
You don't?
So the fact that was shoved down our throat, and we spent hours and hours going over stupid stuff that we could have done in 2 minutes, that uncustomizable approach was really just off-putting to us. So we were moving way faster than them. And we got into researching more about, hey, how else can we use Sage? And we came across you guys on YouTube and all of the information that you guys are putting out on different pieces of the software. And we were like, are these people the same as the other people? Like, can we move? Ultimately, we ended up, going down the road with you guys. But initially, we're exposed to you through YouTube. Then figured out you needed that third-party person. Like, even we were going with Sage, we didn't even understand the third-party thing. We found out about that, and then slowly went down the process with you guys.
Now, I know you weren't in the nitty-gritty every day of deployment with Bangert, but as watching it from afar, working closely with Matt, what would you say about your experience going through the Bangert deployment process?
You guys cared enough to understand the level that we were at. And I understand we're not at the highest level, but we are not just a simple startup that's trying to figure out how to use an accounting software. We move very quickly. You guys understood that. And because of that, we were able to move, a level of magnitude faster than we were with the other people. And it's just a better relationship with you guys. When you understand how we operate, you understand our speed, you talk to us about it, and you deal with the real problems rather than just going through your book and being like, okay, check this off today. Okay, check this, log out, check this off today. So the care that you put into actually talking to us and going through our problems has been, like I said right before we started recording, a breath of fresh air.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, it's definitely apparent that your leadership philosophy flows into technology because you guys are doing a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, you're kind of, even Matt's been, I think he's been experimenting with different things with Intacct and what it can do, its flexibility, its scalability. And I think that's really interesting because it's very clear that you have a people first culture and that you want to get the most out of your technology. You know you need to make the investment because it's valuable, going to be valuable for many years to come. And we appreciate that because I think it's not always apparent, like when you're like, oh my gosh, why am I going to spend so much more on Sage Intacct? Well, it's because this, and this. Let me tell you all the reasons that you might take for granted every single day, but you can get more out of Intacct than you could really anything that's legacy or anything like QuickBooks and so forth.
We're psychos about clean books too, and Matt's even more psycho about it than me. Everything being perfect. And Sage gives us that opportunity to be able to look at, when you have, and I know it's not crazy high, but we're building at our peak, we were building 77 or so houses at one time. And if you can't track everything in and out and you can't track profitability on each of those jobs and profitability month over month on those jobs, you're completely flying blind. So we were dead set going into this that we were not going to spare any expense on the way we track cash. And we were going to operate accounting the right way. And this has given us that, and you guys have been a phenomenal partner in helping us do that. So WIP reporting's new to us, right? So we're getting there.
So I guess last question for me would be, you've looked at other software. What kind of tips would you give somebody else that's going through the process of vetting different options? Any tips as they go through that search?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the biggest mover for me on that was reaching out to other people that are ahead of you already. So like Matt mentioned before, the guys at DLP, I respect a lot, and they had great things to say about Sage. I talked to people that use NetSuite that had great things to say about that. But ultimately, I think they're both great softwares, but you have to go with the one that's specifically to you. We were going to be a construction company, a home builder, and Sage Intacct is built for that. NetSuite, not as much. It's good for other things specifically. That was our opinion anyway. So my best advice would be know where you're going. Talk to as many people as possible that are already using it. If someone's watching this on YouTube and they want to reach out, happy to talk to them. But those would be my two things. Talk to as many people as possible outside of the salespeople at Sage and Oracle, right? Because you're going to get sold a dream. They're salespeople. So talk to people that are already using it and figure out where you want to go. And don't base your decisions just based on who you're talking to at the actual company.
Well, thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.